Welcome Nottingham. We're going to start the Nottingham Board of Selects meeting for September 30th. This meeting was supposed to be held on October 7th, but due to conflicts, we are holding it a week early. So here we are. So we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Did anybody have a question on the payroll or manifest?
I didn't see them. Would it email text them?
Yeah.
I assume they're okay, but I didn't actually see the email.
I didn't happen to see it either.
So, okay, I was like, were they late? Because they were just today, right? Weren't they coming today?
What, the payroll?
Payroll?
So they should have been there Friday.
They should have been there Friday?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't see that email. Oh, that's it?
Betsy doesn't send it over. Used to get it from Ellen.
So, with that being said, should we wait until our next meeting for
We
approval?
probably can't, right?
Well, I mean,
We need to send them out.
yeah.
Do you have a copy?
Yeah, hold on.
I got it right here.
Right here.
No, I got it right here. We're good.
Oh, that's a budget.
That's budget.
That's the budget,
Yeah.
right. That is good. I saw the budget.
Quick couple of minutes.
Yeah, take your time, guys.
Unless-
It's a work agenda.
Yeah, it's not like it's.
you wanna go on all of it?
Yeah.
Make it faster.
Yep.
I mean, was it in that other email? Or it should have been in that other, because it's like not,
She normally sends it out on Friday after the
Right.
payroll processes, so I'm not sure.
yeah, that's why I didn't have it. I was looking for it, and I thought it was maybe coming today.
Well, Betsy was out on Thursday. So,
But she was here on Friday.
right. What's a Dave Small Engine Repair? Dave Small Engine?
Um,
Is that highway material?
yes, highway,
Saws and.
services are chainsaws.
Okay. That's what I figured, just asking. That's not a normal check.
We had 2 or 3 chainsaws that. were repaired.
Ice cream.
Steve White. White, right? Steve White.
No, it's Steve Welch. Ice cream.
Ice cream truck for the town picnic.
For the, yeah. Ice cream. All right. I make a motion that we, oh, you can read it. You can make that motion.
Where'd we do the mini zoo? Mini zoo? Was that a wreck? Must've been a wreck.
That's what I'm assuming.
Okay.
It wasn't the town office.
Well, that's a zoo. It's not
That's not
mini either.
Not a mini zoo.
How difficult would it be to change that check that they made out to me to make it out to Steve White?
So was it supposed to be for Steve White?
Yes.
Oh.
He paid for it.
Uh-huh.
Here's the one that we issued.
I can sign it off and just hand it to him.
It's right here. Hey, it doesn't matter. Tell me, whatever you guys want to do.
So I'll make a motion to approve accounts payable of 9:30 and payroll of 10:01.
I'll second. Sorry, I was snoozing a bit.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Minutes? Well,
I wasn't here.
that kind of defeats that one.
All right, although I did.
Well, we can
have-
do 2 out of
I did have a comment. I was
Sure.
not in attendance for the non-public ones, so
Well, it doesn't have you
it's
checked
like-
off.
No,
It-
not, so further down, further. I was checked off on the second part. There,
Oh,
so, just scratch me from that.
Do you want to table those till next meeting?
Probably, need to, yeah,
Since you
Sure.
don't have a quorum.
right.
I think that would be a splendid
okay, so we'll just
idea.
table the minutes. It's not the end of the world on that one. Boards, we had a planning board meeting last week. One of the big discussions was on a subdivision. It's a 4-lot subdivision off McCrillis, or Mill Pond Road, actually. And one of the discussions was about building envelopes. Now, a 30,000 square foot building envelope. Now, there's a power line easement that runs across the property. The question was, could the building envelope go pass through there and still be part of the building envelope? I said, yes, it could.
Right.
We had discussions that others said it couldn't.
Yeah, because it's,
So it'll be at the next meeting where there's been another subdivision that happened in town in 2019 where the building envelope went through a 4-lot subdivision. And 2 of the lots, the power lines, the deeded power lines went through the building envelope and it was passed and signed. So that'll be brought up at next
Well,
meeting.
it's not a deeded, it's a right of way, not a, well, it's a deeded
Well,
right of way.
right.
They still own the
Right.
property.
you can't actually
You
put
can't-
a building under that part.
You can't.
So does this mean that the building envelope is just too big?
No, 30,000 is, you have to have a 30,000 minimum building envelope. You have to have it. You know, that's not a, you can't make it, we don't want to make them smaller, because then that goes the opposite direction what you want. It's just the fact of where you could still run your power line, you could still run your electrical line
Right, it
underneath it. You
counts
could
for the
still
other
run your
stuff.
sewer line underneath
Right.
it for your leach field. I mean, you can still,
You can't
so
put
you
a-
just can't put a
The
structure.
structure there. Right. You can put your driveway,
But it
whatever.
still should be continued
Okay,
into the building
yeah.
envelope.
Yeah.
That was my opinion.
Okay.
So that was a big discussion on how that,
Yeah.
where,
Yeah,
but especially when we had another case that went,
talk about building envelope, you know, it's like,
you gotta be more into planning to know
Right.
what, to the details, but so that was one of the things that was really brought up, that was, which we'll talk about at the next, I might not be I won't be at the next meeting, but the meeting after that. So there's a lot of things in our ordinances that, in my opinion, where we as a board, we have a discussion about them, but we don't even know the answers. So what does that say to people that come forward to you, is that we put so many things in our zoning ordinances and so many things in there that, I mean, they actually wanted to go and to see the attorney. I'm like, every time we have a question on our ordinances, if we have to run to the attorney, there's something wrong with our ordinances.
Right.
We're not doing justice.
right.
So that was part of the discussion too. So, but we're not going to see the attorney.
Good.
Nope.
Did we approve it?
No, it'll be up for next meeting, because they have to come back with the new 30,000 envelope, and it's gonna be showing it going underneath, I presume. And then we'll have another board discussion on it, but it'll get approved. I mean, it's a 15 acre. And they're putting 4 lots on 15 acres, so one lot's 5 something acres, so
Right.
it does stay with the rural character of the town, of having nice big lots and not being, cookie cutter or anything like that, so. But that was and then one of the other meetings, things we had, it's got, let go, no prejudice, just, they decided to take it off the table, so. That was what's going on with the planning board.
Right. CIP met,
We're looking for alternates too on the planning board, just so you know,
okay.
and alternates on the zoning board, just to bring that up there.
CIP met earlier. We did get some updates. We're still looking for some things to get tuned up a bit yet. But time is going by fast.
Very fast.
So we haven't scheduled the next meeting because we had a couple of people absent. So,
It seems like you had light board today.
yeah, we had a light board.
Yeah. Anything from any other departments? I know we don't have Tim here, just for Nottingham Day got a little rained out.
It did get rained out. We probably had more visitors from out of town than we did in town, so, we had local politicians from Northwood come down with their families.
Okay, so that was the majority
That
of
was the
people?
majority of the people. Unfortunately, the weather was pretty lousy,
It was rainy.
but that's okay. Can't blame people for,
For
at least-
trying.
at least we tried.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. The day after was great.
Right, Sunday was a beautiful day.
Yeah. Just
But, hey.
can't win them all.
So with that being said, we discussed after the Nottingham Day, that maybe we'll do a little bit of polling at the exit of the elections to just see what people might want to celebrate. Is there events that they would like to see? Is there any interest in continuing with Celebrate Nottingham? So, small little poll and see what the interest is. I mean, if there's no interest in people wanting to celebrate something, maybe we shouldn't be doing it.
Well, I think one thing was more because the day was raining,
I
but
think so too,
And
but
that's, right.
I think we need to get the general feeling of a community, and
yeah, because other activities get well received
so.
in town. It's just certain activities you want to see what are, because
Right.
I'm sure trunk or treat, when is that? That's October?
October 19th.
So that's gonna be coming up quick
That's the
too.
Halloween Fest.
Is that what it's called now? Not trunk or treat?
Regular trick or treat is 5 to 7 on the 31st.
But you'll see a good turnout of people for
So
that.
there's 2 trunk or treats?
No, there's the one here that's put on by the rec department, then there's the one in town.
Halloween Fest is on October 19th.
Right, and that's so there's a trunk or treat for that one.
And then general trick or treating.
Just
in
general.
neighborhoods is October 31st.
Oh, yeah.
Not two trunk or treats.
Not 2 trunk or treats.
No, I didn't say those two.
Oh,
She's the one that's brought the second date up. That was for Halloween.
I thought there was 2 trunk or treats in town. I was like, why?
No. That'll be a little bit, not necessary.
Right, regular Halloween is one of
But events like that, I'm just saying that, as
Yeah.
that straw poll that you're asking about is, those get well attended. The blueberry pancake breakfast just gets well attended and stuff like this.
All
so-
stuff that's put on by other departments and not the Celebrate Nottingham committee, which maybe we need to combine with some of those departments and
Right.
pool funding possibly.
And the weather was bad, so that doesn't help.
And I believe there's a 5K going on this weekend too,
October 6th, Sunday.
on
Starting
Sunday,
at,
for a good cost, so if anybody has to attend, please attend. I don't know if, I think you can sign up that day too if you want to, right?
It's only 3.3 miles, come on.
I won't be here.
We have registration, how much does it cost to register? Do we
I
know?
don't have the
No.
details.
Okay.
I just know this one going on.
I just think while we're here, we could push it out to,
There is a 5K going on in Nottingham on Sunday,
Yeah,
Starts at the highway garage.
cost is unknown.
starting on Flutter Street. And it's more of a donation thing, so I think
I thought there was an actual,
it's for,
It usually
it's for a
is.
cause.
It's for
Yeah.
pancreatic cancer
Yeah.
awareness.
All right.
Well, the budget committee's meeting on Thursday.
All right. Town administrator's report?
The Housing Opportunity Planning, or HOP grant as it's been referred to, that application was submitted today, and that's to start the housing section of the master plan update. The grant application that was submitted, we estimated the cost of that portion of the update is going to be about $31,000, so that's the grant that we're applying for. If it will be successful. A special event license was issued for a craft fair and yard sale scheduled to take place on the property adjacent to Lyers on Saturday, October 12th. That was an event that I was able to approve because the attendance is less than 100, so I'm just putting it out there for informational purposes.
Where will they do parking?
At Lyers.
Okay.
Engine 2 did not pass inspection. It requires, and you'll have to ignore what I wrote here, but it needs new rear springs and 2 drag links in the steering. Chief Curry estimates approximately $6,000 in repairs. It is being taken out of service until the repairs are completed at Lakes Region Fire Apparatus.
Is it already up there?
No, he just found out this afternoon.
Okay.
The MS 434, which is the revised estimated revenues, has been submitted to the New Hampshire Department of Revenue. That's a required form that's due the 1st of September. Revenue estimates were updated based on the year-to-date actuals. I did not include the totals in my report, but I think we were about $150,000 less than what was originally estimated for revenues based on the proposed budget. The MS1 summary inventory evaluation, also due the beginning of September. That has been prepared by Chad from Avatar. It's actually in your signature file. It indicates a net valuation of $844,203,201. That is an increase in property valuation since 2023 of $12,056,353. So that's picking up a lot of the new construction and continued construction. So with that being said, I would be looking for a motion this evening for you to sign the MS1 summary inventory evaluation, which is included in the folder.
All right. I'll make a motion that we approve the MS1 evaluations.
I'll second it.
Motion is second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
There was very very light correspondence since your last meeting. There was a response that was provided to Gene Reed regarding authority to contact New Hampshire Municipal's legal services. I provided him with an updated authorized user list following your last meeting. Joanna Lyons of the Division of Natural and Cultural Resources sent an email on September 26th regarding the Pawtuckaway Lake State Park campground project status. That was informational only. We also received an email from the New Hampshire Secretary of State's office on 9/13 regarding House Bill 1569, which is regarding voter identification, and the Supreme Court's decision on ballot counting device use. Additionally, we received a letter from New Hampshire DOT on September 24th. They are going to be doing emergency vehicle posting, Group 2. I included that. I think the posting, there was going to be one on the bridge on Macrillis. I think that was the only one.
Yeah, that's the only one I saw on there, so
Yeah.
that's.
That was the only one identified that would receive that new signage. So that will be installed in the next couple of weeks. And we had received various pieces of correspondence throughout multiple town departments from a Joanne Dardano looking to make Pine Street a public road for maintenance. I did respond to her. I brought it up at the last meeting, so I provided a response to her on September 23rd, and I included that. So outside of that, the only thing that I forgot to include on this report is the milling and resurfacing of Deerfield Road. It will be from the section where the new pavement stopped to just around the corner from Fundy Boat Launch. That is subject to start anytime as soon as tomorrow into the next 2 weeks.
Is that all the spots where the pavement's been lifted up?
Yes, yeah, or it's completely delaminated, so they're gonna mill down the surface and then repave it.
So they're gonna start near the
Where
boat
the-
launch and go.
Correct,
Towards
and go
Deerfield.
back to the new paving, that's as far, so there was $142,000 that was left over from last year's paving and reconstruction warrant article that was encumbered, so it was to complete that portion of it, as well as the paving of Highland Ave, which was part of the drainage project, also completed in 2023. So that wraps up what little road reconstruction we can do, but it's based off of funding that was approved in 2023. So again, that could start as early as tomorrow or over the next 2 weeks. They will be happening in tandem. While they're doing the milling on Deerfield Road, the paving crew can actually be doing the work on the island. So there should be no road closures. There may be periods of delay, maybe down to one lane.
One lane probably, yeah.
They're gonna mill the whole section that they're gonna repave, yeah.
What was the mail about Mendham's Pond?
Oh, Mendham's Pond, thank you, I missed that one. There will be an informational meeting
Next week.
next week, October 7th at the Barrington Town Hall, and I believe it is at 7 o'clock,
I thought it said 5:30.
5:30.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up. Mendham's Pond drawdown, it's a scheduled drawdown. Town of Barrington, Town of Nottingham. Starting on November 11th, the New Hampshire DES Dam Bureau intends on lowering Mendham's Pond approximately 20 feet to facilitate the rehabilitation of the dam in 2025. The pond will remain at a lowered state for most of 2025, but will return to normal pool level in 2026. There will be a public informational meeting to answer questions concerning the reconstruction project for the Mendham's Pond Dam, as well as the drawdown of the pond. The town of Barrington has agreed to put us on their select board meeting agenda for Monday, October 7th at 5:30 PM. This is advertised in local newspapers, and then of course I'm making this formal announcement for anybody that would like to.
I assume I could forward that letter to PLIA?
Yes, please do.
I thought they already redid that dam a couple of years
Yeah,
ago.
they did a couple of years ago. They redid something with it.
Because they had the water drawn down to, I mean,
Right.
they already did this before.
Right, but apparently they did something wrong. So it being out of commission for a whole summer, it sounds like, there is impact on Pawtucket Lake, because if there is a pulse drawdown, they won't be able to draw down from Mendham's, which is part of that plan. So it'll all have to come out of Pawtucket. So, I'm sure that,
Yeah, like the pulse they just did.
like the pulse they just did.
I didn't think about that, you're right. They won't be able to pulse them.
Yeah, they don't, the agreements that they made, they only honored for like 5 years.
They just do whatever they want otherwise.
And that's right. So.
State looks for our opinions to make them feel better, then they just go do what they
I was
want.
like, yeah, we'll do that for 5 years.
Right.
Although, you know, it'll be helpful to, if, assuming we win that other grant, that we'll have some ammunition to push back on some things.
Anything else?
That is all I have.
We have assessing?
One of them was an ad in received today for timber tax warrant. Still want to hold it over for a month.
That's one that's in my hand.
Approve it? That's fine.
So why don't we start with, make a motion to approve Veterans Tax Credit, map 3, lot 11.
I'll second.
Motion and a second on the Veterans Tax Code. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. And how about make a motion to approve the timber tax warrant on map 23, lot 11.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. We did the MS-1.
We did that already, yeah.
Do we have any action items from last meeting?
No.
Tax deed inspection review still gonna require more time.
Sorry?
The tax deed inspection review, that's still gonna require more time to be able to research all the properties and.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes. That would seem it would make sense that it needs more time. Did we make any progress on it? No?
Oh, we got the official letter from the Department of Homeland Securities for awarding the grants for the fire department, which we already know about.
Oh, yeah.
It's just from FEMA.
Official letter.
What does it have from FEMA? It says all
Yes,
this stuff.
That's a pretty big letter.
Yeah. We're not gonna read that in the record.
No. You probably read the cover if you wanted to. Although it was already announced it.
That's what we were talking about, the lean things that we have to research more.
No, that might have just been the liens that were.
Okay.
At the end of August. In the packet.
Okay, reevaluation proposal. You guys all have that in your packet?
Only one receipt.
Oh, isn't that good?
They're not due until when? Middle of October?
Today.
Oh, today was the,
Today, yeah.
is the deadline. Okay. So be it. So with that being said,
The request for the proposal is from Avatar, the present company that we're using in Nottingham now. Seems like they do almost have to state.
they do a fair amount of them, don't they?
Yes, they do.
But being the only one that responded,
Right. Maybe they need more competition.
that is possible. How many companies are out there that do assessing? Quite a few?
There are a few out there, but I've heard more recently, there are several towns that they haven't received any.
Oh,
Oh, really?
We're very fortunate to have received one.
okay.
They haven't received any?
That Chad was telling me, I think it was the town of Colebrook was supposed to have their revaluation completed in 2024, and they didn't have any bidders. And now they're at the point where they have to put it out one more time before the Department of Revenue steps in and does the revaluation for
Nobody
them.
wants to drive up to Colebrook.
How much do we put away every year?
25,000,
Except for this year.
except for this year, so whatever we have, I believe it's 75,000 plus in the capital reserve fund right now.
'Cause
And it's been, a portion of it's been put into the CD, so hopefully gain 5.5.
you saw the total.
I did see the total. It is, so when they did the 5-year contract for assessing.
Just go to the part with the
services-
money, that's what you care about.
When they did the 5-year contract for assessing services, I think they estimated at that time it was gonna be around 87,000. We also have quite a few more parcels with recent subdivisions that have taken place, so.
We're at 96,000. Where is it, John? You wanna read that out loud?
6,636.
Got
Total
that?
parcels of 2,740.
Well, at least we're in the ballpark where we knew it was coming, so.
Yep. And this is their list of clients.
Not sure
Looks
if
like
we
it's-
hire a bond and then it'll be a little bit more.
All right, so if we get a bond, if a bond is required, it's
An
additional
extra
3865. The blue ones are their towns.
This is Avatar, that's all I noticed.
Highlights. Oh, no, this is their whole client list. There's the blue. Town highlights signifies towns with both assessing and tax collecting. Okay. All right.
So we need a motion to accept the agreement of Avatar for our revaluation agreement?
Assuming that's what we want to do.
I would assume so too.
I would.
So I'll make a motion.
Okay, I will second your motion to accept the Avatar agreement for, do you need the price?
I already got a copy. I printed it off.
Copy that.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Now we can go look at our budget.
Yay.
I just received this from, let's see, about 3 o'clock this afternoon. She wanted to make sure she got the payroll and accounts payable entered in there. She's still on her way, but I did see it. To be honest with you, I haven't gone through and done a thorough review. As I've stated to you before, I usually try to take the bottom line, because that's what we're really focusing on, and making sure that we're in line with what percentage of the year that we're in. So we have a quarter of the year remaining, and according to this, we have 25% of our operating budget left.
So we are,
Perfect.
Right there.
You know, looking at the departments, obviously, the biggest impact with that bottom line is our legal line. We're 69% over budget with that. For dollars here, $20,888. The zoning board is somewhat over, but that's because we removed, we still have to put somewhere the expenditure for the postage and the noticing requirements, and then there's an offsetting revenue piece that we're not seeing, because we're only looking at the expenditure side, and that's the same for the planning board as well.
yeah, because planning doesn't look very healthy in here. It looks like it's negative.
And again, you know, we did not sign on as a dues-paying member to SRPC, so we're now paying for our planner on an hourly consultant basis, and we have utilized them quite a bit, especially as you referred to earlier about, you know, getting clarification on zoning ordinance from legal. We're also relying very heavily on him as our town planner in the absence of having a town planner.
Well, it's cheaper than having a town planner.
Yes, absolutely. Agreed.
And again, he does a good job. So, I
So-
mean, he's very knowledgeable and it's,
If we went back to being a member,
It was $20,000 that we had to cut when we were
right,
put it.
right, but I'm just thinking ahead. Would that, is it gonna save us money or not, or should we have done that? And
So we had $22,000 allocated for the planner, and we're $113 over right now with a quarter of the year going, so we'll
Mhm.
have to evaluate that as we get closer.
Right, and how much was it to join? 20,000? Would that have offset the whole?
Yes, what PC dues, I don't have it with me.
I want to say, I thought there were 6, but I could be totally off on that.
But I did have,
I want to say there were like 6 or something, but
no, it
that's,
was more than that.
But it's not it just gives us a cheaper rate or something, right? It's not we don't get full service.
yeah, but you know, one thing too, what the planner's really doing is a benefit for us. I mean, it stinks at the money that it's cost, but we have a very young board that's inexperienced.
Right, I know.
So, I mean,
So-
the fact that he's been there, what he's been doing is, and just helping interpret everything was, because he does a lot, that gets the time to look at everything before he comes in, so even when we're asking questions, he's already reviewed everything, so he's on the ball, so I definitely appreciate what he does for the planning board.
Right. I'm just
And I
wondering
definitely can,
would it have been cheaper if we were a member, a paying member?
well, I think on part of our subject conversation we had at the beginning of the season, when we had this, when we were going through this, was we were going to limit him. But I've seen him at every
Yeah.
single meeting, and
Yeah,
I've seen him for the whole time he's there, so I don't know if that limitation actually ever happened, which is not the,
Right, Right.
Because I thought we were
I
going,
mean, yeah, if we really need it, you know, if we can't limit it,
The other thing that is offsetting this budget, when you look down, planning board, legal, engineering reimbursement. So that's showing that we're $11,646 over budget, but technically, so again, you're seeing the expenditure side of it, we're receiving an offsetting revenue. The applicant pays for those legal and engineering reviews, but they have to be expended somewhere, so there is a missing piece. So I mean, that attributes to a lot of the planning board budget being over.
we're over on cemeteries too.
we're over on something. Yeah,
We're way over.
we're way over on cemeteries.
Way over.
Why-
How did we get the 6,500 so wrong from what we did for what,
I will have to look, because I don't know on that one.
way over on some- Not that, I
Yeah.
mean, percentage-wise, we're way over, it's,
Over $2,000.
right.
well, that seems, I mean, it's been a nice year. My grass is going green in my house, but that's basically, the cemeteries, we haven't did any repairs. So it's just been maintenance.
It's all mowing.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah.
Did mowing go up a lot, or are we just mowing that much more?
I will have to look into that, maybe, yes, I don't know.
Highway, so highway, we're at 23%. That's the one I was worried about.
Right.
Police is still doing good.
But they're also short staffed,
What?
they're short
Well,
positions.
Right, luckily, the overtime hasn't killed us in that department. Because that's always the concern. Gonna pay out more in overtime than it would have the full-time.
well, we're out of overtime line item, so it's,
No, I know.
we're gonna see that dwindle down, but at least we're in a, the fire department's doing fine.
And again,
Oh,
short, two
very short.
full-time positions,
Okay, well,
supplementing.
I'm looking at the bottom line. So there's spaces in here, I mean, there's a lot of departments that are, I mean, they're smaller numbers, but they're doing, code enforcement's still at 45. I don't see what Dale's gonna spend any more money on.
Yeah, but, right, does some of that's, I don't know, it's like, yeah,
And the recycling center's still in the positive.
did that big mileage check get applied to this?
Did the what?
I'm sure.
This huge mileage check,
No.
it must be. Yeah, because it was like this 1865, because it all got piled into one check.
And,
That was like
correct.
the last meeting I
I
was
think,
at.
yeah, that was for the first 3 quarters, so he is going to submit them quarterly.
Yeah, oh, that'd be helpful,
I know
especially,
that the new code books, we have $1,500 allocated for that. Those are, I don't think they've been ordered yet, but they will be ordered in the next couple of weeks.
those books. That's the publications piece.
Correct.
Well, let's hope for a warm December.
Although some of the warmer ones were the problems with the extra salt. Or if we were getting that rain or whatever. Salt, sand.
As long as it stays warm, we won't have to use it.
So,
So these figures are all going to be input into the budget worksheet that you're
Yep.
a little bit more familiar with. This is the one that spits out from our antiquated accounting program.
mhm.
We'll have those updated for the budget committee meeting on Thursday. I'll be sure to share them with you. A little bit easier on the eyes.
It's gonna be a tight squeeze to the end of the year, but I think we'll make it.
Is there anything we can cut?
No. I mean, a lot of the things that we have a $50,000 cruiser that was funded out of ARPA that has to make its way back into the operating budget, so.
What do you mean has to?
So,
Oh, for next year,
right.
for the next cruiser coming in.
Next year's
Those are some of the
budget's-
sacrifices that were made to.
Oh, I remember, I was there, yeah.
Next year's budget's gonna be really tough.
It is gonna be extremely difficult. I mean, I think we started out with like a $300,000 deficit plus the warrant articles that failed.
Yeah, and then we're working off this one as the 4%.
Right,
It's not gonna be an easy process.
no. Nope.
Something to think about there of things.
Gotta play with the hand we're dealt.
And we'll start seeing what the departments are coming forward with, starting at the next meeting on the 21st.
Well, I mean, they have to come
With it, what they need to run their department.
Right,
with every reasonable method to save a dollar.
yeah, it's not gonna be pretty.
So you're gonna prepare this all for the budget committee?
That's correct. So once I have that, the budget worksheet, ready on Thursday, I'll forward a copy to you as well.
Right, thank you.
Well, you know, when you look at least the big departments with the money, I mean, they're not, you know, that's where there's still money left, which is nice. You know, the department that's only spending $4,000, if they're out of money, it's not the same department that has a $1 million,
Right.
where you start saying, oh, look, they're short, that's not good. We don't make up that money.
No, that's why I was worried about the highway is, and that's not
Well,
horrible.
one of the ways that we, not only
Right.
putting the brakes on, but we didn't backfill the fourth position for several months. We've just recently started advertising to go into winter
Right.
months with a full crew.
Mhm.
So having that position vacant for 4 months definitely helped on the salary and benefit end, but again, like, at what cost to the department? Was it one more project that they weren't able to have the labor to work toward?
Right.
So something
But
else,
didn't have the money to do it anyway,
Right,
so.
yeah.
They have been very successful in
They,
a lot of
yeah,
roadside cleanup
Yeah,
and
no,
and
they-
ditching and
I-
brush chipping, so.
considering what they had to work with, I think they did fabulous. or they are doing fabulous.
In the recycling, there's just a question to be brought up. The testing line?
Is not correct.
Okay, yeah, because it's, I mean,
It should be 7,000, not 70,000,
okay. That makes,
which gives the number, that's why it has to be input into the correct spreadsheet.
all right, because I was looking at this, I'm like, well,
I
what?
don't have that much money left.
It didn't make,
Is it a typo or something?
Yes, yeah. There was an extra zero added.
well, I thought also $70,000 in testing was a lot of money for testing, because I don't know what we're testing for 70 grand. It's like,
It's your landfill monitoring.
right. So the fact that we've spent 6,300, we only have like $700 left, that's, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually spent,
But that's gonna change, is that gonna change my 30%?
That's gonna change your percentage.
So where we look good here right now, we're not gonna look good.
right. We're
It's
not gonna look as
still,
good.
it's still within line though, it's not
Yeah,
over.
we're not gonna look as good. So we might be, we might be under the 25% on the overall though.
Well, it's just it's gonna be a huge change.
Yeah, $63,000.
Yeah. When you've got 147,000 listed, 63 grand you take off there is quite a bit of money.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking on the overall side too. It's gonna bring us
Sure.
less than a 25% left.
Sure. Hey, and the more this cost here goes into the negatives right there,
Right.
all goes back to my saying where there should be a fee to use the dump to help offset this cost. And I'll keep saying that till last time I sit at this desk here. 'Cause I've been saying it for years and I'll keep saying it till I go.
So that puts it exactly 25%.
On recycling? So what's it differ overall?
Yeah, is that gonna change our bottom line
Yeah,
number?
It's gonna change our bottom line. It's gonna be down to
24 or
23 or
yeah.
24.
I mean, I don't wanna point out the negative things I see on here, but I guess,
No, you have to. That was a good find. I don't know how that got to be,
It actually doesn't change it very much.
yeah.
well, because we're dealing with millions on the other side, so.
It's like 24.2% remains on the overall, opposed to the 25.05.
So how did this get entered as,
When the budget got entered into the accounting system.
yeah, but didn't the total numbers balance?
They should have.
They should have.
So that's why I said this comes, the worksheet that you normally see
Yeah.
comes from
Mhm.
an Excel doc.
And one of the things too, we're on buildings here, CC building maintenance.
Community center.
Here.
It's this building.
So that's where our general alarm, fire alarm monitoring, our pest control, our regular routine.
We're way out of budget on that one.
What's that?
We allocated 15, we spent 31?
Yes, so part of this, as we're doing building maintenance, this is where the initial expense gets made from, and then I make a recommendation to you to do a withdrawal of the building maintenance expendable trust fund, and that
Yep.
reimburses those accounts. So that hasn't been done.
So that number's gonna change, again, when so when I'm looking at all these different numbers and I'm actually seeing them there, and you see this being like, oh my God, this is 16 grand under, and you're like, wait a second, that should be in the thing under there, and you said, you know, whatchamacallit, building maintenance, stuff that we required the money,
Yes.
that's gonna still change the bottom line when you throw the money back in.
It's a little bit of fuzzy money.
Right, so for
Well,
the first 2 quarters, we had, I think it was about $26,000 that we moved from that building maintenance
Right.
expendable trust fund. I don't have as many for the 3rd quarter, but there will be some. I think it was around like 13,000 when I originally calculated it, so
Well,
there will be some.
when we're talking about where we're just having this conversation on where our budget was and what percentage we're sitting at,
Right.
it seems like 13 grand is a
$100,000
It's-
is pretty important.
A fair amount.
we need every bit we can have.
It'll help.
Yeah, it's the hard
being
thing
built-
with the offsetting revenue is basically they have to show, here.
So being the last day of the quarter, this is a very preliminary discussion, whereas if we had a meeting next week, I think we'll have.
Would have been fine tuned.
No, that's fine, again, I mean, I'm happy that we see these as much as we had this year. And actually, we've been a little more diligent on, looking at these, because I remember in my first 3 years, I don't think we saw them, maybe we did, but I don't recall. Of course, we weren't on default budgets either, so we weren't,
And I will be meeting with department heads next Monday to go through these and talk about them thoroughly. And trying to do that, at least every other month basis.
And how do they feel?
Nervous?
Okay. Fair?
That's definitely fair.
Yep. I don't blame them.
Nope. Can't blame them at all.
There's a lot of question about how we're going to proceed into next year's budget. So I'll be able to continue that discussion.
well, especially when people, need raises, people need this, things are going up, things are changing, it's, you don't want to see something cut or sacrificed but you can't go on playing the way we were playing and just spending and not. Well, I don't think our town was ever spending, I shouldn't say it like that. We were always been a frugal and,
I think we've always kept our budget very reasonable.
very, right.
Very little.
I think we've tried to definitely keep our budget very reasonable.
Well,
It's hard.
yeah, we need the naysayers, the people that, again, I want to call them naysayers, because, quote me, the people that voted it down last year for whatever reasons, have to really take a good look and say, hey, listen, you might not want to, but there's gonna be some, I mean,
How do we survive?
how do we keep providing everything that you want
Right.
at the cost level it's not feasible? No one wants to see their taxes go up, but for the greater good, if it's $50, you gotta pay extra, I mean, it is what it is. Unless you start wanting to feeing everything out for people. No one likes my plan. Okay. Anybody more questions on this?
I don't think so.
I look forward to seeing the budgeting sheet
Yeah.
in the next couple of days.
I look forward to hearing what the budget committee, since there's a lot of new members on that bit, what their say is gonna be, on there. We have no appointments.
I tried to I sent you a letter earlier today.
It just didn't make it onto the agenda as an appointment, so it was just meant for another public input.
We'll still hear you. Yeah, good. Excited now.
Always blooming too,
So are we going, is there anything for non-public?
No.
Perfect. Don't like non-public, all right. So we're at the end of the meeting, we're gonna have our public comment. Charlotte, please come up and state your name and,
Say your name and your
Charlotte Fife, 85 Deerfield Road. The old firehouse was mentioned briefly at the last Selectmen's meeting. We actually discussed this a little bit at the CIP. And because I was a member of the Facilities Committee and got a chance to really look inside it there, we finally recommended that it just be painted and the trim repaired on the actual report, but I was a dissenter. I think the building should be raised. I feel it's just a mess. It's an eyesore. It suffers from drainage issues. It's a cement building. It's always going to be damp inside. The mold and mildew problem is really something, and apparently affecting the plumbing supplies as well that were kept in there. I know that we're making a little bit of money on that now, but that's.
what do you mean by raised? leveled or
Raised, R-A-Z-E-D, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Come on, you're on the planning
Demolished,
board.
I'm sorry.
You're on the planning board.
Well, we don't use it, never used that term before, so.
Sorry, okay, demolished.
Demolished, thank you. That's,
Demolished, right,
I
exactly.
think other people out there are probably asking the same question I just asked in
I
public, so.
apologize.
Raise, I was thinking, we're gonna rip it down, put another storage on there.
Well, actually,
You know, it's
Donna
one of
Davis
those
said the same
words
thing.
that,
I know, you have to spell it, I know. Donna said the same thing, do you want a parking garage? And I mean, just where it is, it's in such a dangerous area, where now we're talking about 152 and 156 coming in at a triangle, a neighbor's driveway, the library, which apparently now has abandoned the idea of the kind of horseshoe type thing. We were talking about another driveway at the lower parking lot that the library uses. You've got that terrible entrance into the garage of the old fire station, and then you've got the horseshoe for the old town hall. It's kind of a mess. I, just throwing this out here, don't kill me. I'd love to see that raised, graded, and either aggregate or gravel put on there to extend parking. I think it would help assuage the need that we have. There is a real parking problem over there, and an entrance and exit problem. Not only from the library, which is just bobbing these days with cars that are all over the place, but also for the SAU. And also my hope is that we'll be able to reuse the Old Town Hall at some point by putting in some splits in there. That's still being talked about. I know, it's gloom and doom. But, you know, I'm hopeful. This is a hard act to follow after all this. But I'm very hopeful because the need for meeting space and community space is so intense, and I just hear from all my neighbors how much they would like to be able to use that building year-round. I don't think we should sell the land, and I feel even more negative about that idea because I just found out in the CIP meeting that although there's 450 feet of frontage, it's only 145 feet deep, and that lot is one lot that includes the old Grange Hall, the old Town Hall, and the fire station. And I think it would actually beautify the town to get rid of that building. I don't know what we pay for insurance. I believe it's blanket.
right,
So it's hard to, yeah.
right.
I don't, they're paying for the heat, right?
Yes.
The renters, yeah, so that helps. I mean, it really is an eyesore with literally crumbling out front. It's a mess. And I think it should just be gone. I think it's a liability. And I know that we've got a year-long contract on that, and that can certainly go on, but I wish you'd at least give it some thought, and also some thought to.
It most likely will have to come down to, again, not that I'm in favor of even more warrant articles, but it's most likely gonna be left up to the people of Nottingham to say, hey, we got a cost to take it down, it's gonna cost 75 grand. Do you wanna take it down and make it for parking for this? And the library's gonna have to sell the idea, cause some people are gonna see the demolition cost, say, you know what? I don't care, leave it.
Yeah, let it just all.
And that's, but I mean, that's where it comes down to, you know.
And again, it seems like a liability potentially to me. I mean, at what point do you say, we can't really rent this out safely anymore, or it's subject to vandalism?
Right. I mean, right now,
Questions?
yes, it's making us money, so that's a good thing. We have a renter,
It's a good
so
thing,
that's
it's a good thing, but we,
positive, but should that change, then
yep, and I'm not gonna say, I'm looking at the big picture, and I just wanted to put that bug in your ear before anything else gets planned. I mean, again, being on the facilities committee, I got to see that we've been very frugal, and that's always a good thing. I know how to pinch a penny, but we've been frugal, to my mind, penny wise, pound foolish, and now we're at this point where so much needs to be done.
Look at the back of this building.
Thank you, exactly, and it's costing us a lot
Let's
of
just point out I mean,
yeah, it's costing us a lot of money to encase that, and we still haven't made a decision, 20 years later?
on what we're gonna do. We're just cleaning it up.
Yeah, I know.
We're cleaning up a mess that should have been cleaned up 20 years ago.
Exactly. And I think things are just getting more and more expensive.
But that, you're right, that over there could be that same, we could be in the same situation as just, we're gonna have another building that's,
I mean, we're never gonna fix that up.
But there's no real reason to fix it up that I can think of. I mean, it's just so moisture ridden
Yeah, yeah.
that,
It's built into a hill, it's made of all
Right.
cement.
yeah.
The driveway is atrocious too,
Yeah,
It just boggles my mind that it was ever built that way, but
and used.
not much traffic.
for fire trucks.
For fire truck, I
Well,
know.
you
They
know,
backed
You
up it.
bought 'em
Well,
out
we
of
can't,
Nottingham.
unfortunately, we can't even have a fire for them to practice with.
So we could take care of that. But I just wanted to put my 2 cents worth in, because I do see that as being a valuable piece of land that I think should stay with the town. We should keep that. And the Pawtuckaway, well, Steve and I have dreams about that, right? You know, of someday, you know, getting some grants or being able to maintain that. I mean, it's not in horrible shape right now. And the old town hall could be, I think, still very useful, get a lot of years out of it for community activities, which, you know, people are really clamoring for. So I'd like to see that area preserved, and I feel like, honestly, I never thought these words would come out of my mouth, but I feel like a parking lot would be more attractive than what's there now, and a lot more useful. I do think there's gonna be pressure on the library for expansion and for more parking. It also affects the ball games. There are cars parked everywhere. You know, I go down that way frequently, I live down that way, and there is a real parking problem along a very busy state road. And a dangerous, kind of twisty, turny one. So I just wanted to put that bug in your ear to think about it for future. Nothing I'm demanding. I just wanted to say something as someone who'd gotten a chance to really look around in there and behind there. I think it's a lost cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thanks.
Anybody else? No, Doug, you're right. Motion to adjourn?
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good night, Nottingham. See you in a couple weeks.